This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900. News is also brought to you by Desert View Hospital. You can count on us.
Welcome to News 25 here on KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. It is Friday, September 16th. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Well, a SWAT deputy with Nye County is receiving accolades after he took action that resulted in life-saving measures for his fellow officers. The Nye County Sheriff's Office is honoring Deputy James Ramos, who received the SOAR, or Safety Officer Award recognition, presented by the Southern Nevada Rotary Club. Deputy Ramos truly exemplifies the SOAR motto, according to the Nye County Sheriff's Office, which is service above self. Deputy Ramos's actions on April 10th protected the lives of his fellow SWAT members. Sheriff Sharon Morley is proud and honored to have Deputy Ramos on her team. NCSO says congratulations to Deputy Ramos for this recognition. The incident occurred on April 10th of this year on Highway 372 when the Nye County Sheriff's Office was notified around 11 p.m. by California Highway Patrol that they were in pursuit of a vehicle with the Inyo County Sheriff that was headed towards Pahrump following a shooting in Tacoma, California. The suspects, which included Myro Klim and Jade Hughey, were inside the vehicle with a high-powered rifle and driving on rims at a speed of 15 miles per hour, headed toward the Nevada border. The sheriff activated SWAT and a roadblock was set up on Highway 372 on the Nevada side of the border. The suspect's vehicle stopped in Nevada at the roadblock in front of a Bearcat vehicle used by SWAT. SWAT personnel attempted verbal commands, used distraction devices and other less than lethal measures in an attempt to gain compliance, according to the sheriff's office. In response, the suspects covered the vehicle windows and surveillance was no longer possible. The female, identified as Jade Hughey, who was a passenger inside the car, was reportedly pregnant. The car was driven by Myro Klim. At around 2 a.m., SWAT performed a vehicle assault by using the Bearcat vehicle and by doing so knocked down the vehicle window coverings, exposing one subject with a shotgun pointed directly at members of the SWAT initiative. The bump threw the shooter off balance long enough to negate the threat and take both suspects into custody. The vehicle bump was unannounced and unplanned. The sheriff's office says if it hadn't been for the quick thinking of Deputy Ramos, members of the team would have been placed in an immediate life-threatening situation. Deputy James Ramos will also be recognized at an upcoming Southern Nevada Officer Award ceremony. Both suspects, who were Florida residents, were wounded by deputies at the roadblock. The Nye County Sheriff's Office also aired body-worn camera video from 3 SWAT deputies who said that they fired 14 shots. Myro Klim of St. Petersburg and Jade Hughey of Tampa were taken to a Las Vegas hospital and have recovered from their injuries. No one in Tacoma was injured during the shooting at that scene. However, a business was shot up, they say, by the suspects. Jade Hughey was booked and released. Myro Klim is facing 7 counts of assault on a protected person and resisting a public officer. He was shot several times by deputies. Hughey received small cuts from breaking glass. Well, the death of Justice of the Peace Kent Jasperson last month has left a vacancy in the Pahrump Justice Court. County commissioners say that they want to get a replacement on the bench as soon as possible. To expedite the process, they've decided to appoint someone to replace Jasperson, but not before some discussion about the length of the appointment term.
Chairman, I make a motion that we determine the position is vacant and that we fill the unexpired term ending in 2027 by appointment.
Jabor seconds.
I'd like to ask for a friendly amendment to that.
I'm listening.
That we would change the term so that we could have the opportunity, the people could have the opportunity to vote sooner rather than later.
Well, this is the actual term that he was elected for. So
that's an awful long term. So
6 years.
6 years.
That's a long term.
Sorry.
For a position that we appoint.
I believe, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, it'll come up in the next 2 years for election to the remainder of the term. But for purposes of this item, the term stated is ending at 2027.
That's right.
I would have to double check, but I believe that it would be in the next election cycle. It would then come up as an item for the voters to decide
Whether
who would be the justice of the peace for the remaining unexpired term.
The biggest problem with this whole thing is once that happens, that person's going to run for 2 years and has to run again.
Yeah.
That's no different than any other
I got that. That's
term,
what it is.
just like the commissioner, like
Getting
you
that out
had
there so
in the
whoever
various town
decides to
boards.
put in their
Yes.
application that they know that it's not going to go to 2027
No.
unless they win the election
Correct.
That's
for
correct.
the mid.
That's correct.
I think that clarified Commissioner Strickland's
Yes.
concern. It's the unexpired term, but I think with that clarity, she's good.
And I think Commissioner Jabor is too.
I don't know if that's accurate that it would go into the next election. I think it may go to the unexpired term. So I just want to be careful with the vote, because if that was significant to your vote, then I just wanted to make sure that you knew that might not be the
we
possibility.
Get some kind of input back before the day is over.
It sounds like you want to go ahead and go through the appointment process, which will allow us to go forward and advertise. So I think we're just talking about the term at this point.
Correct.
So maybe we can bring it back if that's not the case, and then we can revisit
Correct.
the item, but still proceed with the applications.
And that's what we want to do.
Okay.
It's only going to come back if it's for the full term.
Understood.
But I don't believe so, and we'll get back to
Either way, we'll get you an update.
Thanks.
So, thank you.
And the county is now accepting applications for that position. Applications have until Friday, September 30th at 5 p.m. to submit their resumes. The only requirement for Justice of the Peace is that the applicant be qualified elector and a resident of Pahrump. Applicants are being accepted at the Nye County Clerk's Office here in Pahrump and Tonopah. You can also mail an application to the Nye County Clerk's Office there in Tonopah. And a Nye County resident here in Pahrump has been arrested for identity theft and possession of credit cards. On September 10th, deputies with the Nye County Sheriff's Office say that they have arrested Brown for 1 count of obtaining or possessing a credit card and 12 counts of obtaining or using another person's identification for unlawful purposes. According to the declaration of arrest on June 29th, detectives served a search warrant at a Pahrump address. During the search warrant, one of the suspects on scene was Jessica Brown, who had multiple items of mail, personal identifying information of credit and debit cards belonging to other people that did not occupy the residence or know Brown. It took several weeks to sort out and contact most of the following victims listed in the information, with items found to be possessed by Brown, who reported to have been living in a room that the items were located in. Police say that they found identification and social security number information, including debit and credit cards belonging to adults and juveniles, including vehicle boats and titles, coins, old exchange paperwork, all located in a black briefcase. They say that one of the victims in this case reported a stolen briefcase in Las Vegas on April 14th. The victim said that his vehicle was broken into at Palace Station. They were able to describe the majority of the items located within the briefcase, which was referenced in a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department case. There were a few others who also had auto burglaries that had gone unreported. Brown was found to be in violation and possession, obtaining identification for unlawful purposes by possessing the identification and social security numbers of other persons and information of victims 1 through 12, that being 12 counts, and possessing debit and credit cards without the consent of people belonging to 4 separate victims. Brown was then arrested and booked into the Nye County Sheriff's Office Detention Center. More news and your health on the other side of this break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, a local bank called police when they noticed something kind of suspicious when they cashed a check recently. Aaron Foster has been arrested for forgery, intent to utter a fictitious bill or note, and burglary of a business in the first degree, as well as possession of forged instruments. According to the Nye County Sheriff's Office declaration of arrest, on August 11th, deputies were dispatched to Meadows Bank here in Pahrump in reference to a theft. Upon arrival, they made contact with the bank manager, who stated that on August 9th, Aaron Foster entered the bank and cashed a check in the amount of $700. The report says after taking a closer look at the check, bank employees suspected that the check may have been altered. On August 11th, the bank made contact with the account holder, who stated that she never wrote that check to Aaron Foster. The state then refunded the account and called police to press charges. They say that Foster did provide the bank with a copy of his driver's license and also filled out the banking application with all of his personal information on it. Police received a copy of the check from the bank and on September 2nd made contact with the victim in this case. She says that she hired Foster for a job and he was inside of her home. She stated that she did write a check for $700 to another individual that was dated July 27th and that she never wrote a check to Foster. On September 2nd, deputies made contact with Aaron Foster here in Pahrump, and he was placed into custody and transported to the Nye County Sheriff's Office Detention Center. Well, flu and COVID-19 vaccines are a priority for many people as we head into fall, but there are some other important vaccinations for adults to remember as well.
A lot of the vaccinations that we get as children, but a lot of people don't know that as you get into adulthood, you may require some additional vaccinations. One of the things that we always recommend is getting a booster on your tetanus vaccine every 10 years.
Dr. Kruliaknik with Cleveland Clinic explains a simple cut or scrape can put adults at risk for tetanus if they do not get a booster every 10 years. The bacteria that cause tetanus are usually found in soil, dust, and manure. Dr. Yaknik also recommends a pneumonia vaccine for all adults 65 years old and up. Pneumonia can cause a serious risk to older adults, and getting vaccinated can protect them from being hospitalized. Dr. Yaknik adds adults 50 years old and older should get vaccinated for shingles, which can cause a painful rash. Even after the rash is gone, people may continue to have nerve pain in the same area.
Patients that get shingles can have really, really severe and debilitating pain that can last a long time. Sometimes even after we treat the shingles with medication, they can continue to have pain in that area for weeks, months, sometimes even years.
Well, Dr. Vagnick says that shingles vaccines can help people fight off the infection and prevent them from getting it in the first place. Well, the Nevada Department of Wildlife, in coordination with the USDA, has confirmed highly pathogenic avian influenza in wild bird flu populations here in Nevada. It's contagious as a virus and mostly circulates in wild waterfowl without any signs of illness and low mortality rates. Due to the contagious nature of this, it's likely already exists in wild waterfowl populations throughout the state. Some birds, including bird of prey species, owls, raptors, eagles, grouse, and domestic birds such as backyard and commercial chickens can have very high mortality rates, reaching up to 95% in domestic chickens. And in addition, cases have occurred in various mammal species, and in all mammals should be considered potentially susceptible. It has been detected throughout the United States since December of 2021 and in July of 2022. The USDA and the Nevada Department of Agriculture confirmed the first case of the virus in Nevada in a backyard flock in domestic birds in Carson City. Since then, the disease has confirmed in multiple geese and ducks in Reno and birds of prey species across the western Nevada and during routine surveillance of waterfowl in western Nevada. The current strain of the virus appears to pose a low risk for human infection, but those who work with wild birds, especially waterfowl, are at higher risk of exposure and should wear appropriate personal protective equipment. To keep yourself, pets, and domestic poultry safe, there are some simple steps that you can follow. Hunters are encouraged to follow those guidelines to protect yourself, and for a complete list, you can go onto KPVM's Facebook page. We have the entire list of what you can do to protect yourself and your animals. And for more information, you can give them a call, 775-353-3709. That's 775-353-3709. When we return, we'll have your Save a Pet.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. Also brought to you by Silver State Health. Visit silverstatehealth.org or call 702-471-0420 for an appointment. News 25, local news you can count on.
Well, Pat Lemming from Never Forgotten Animal Society says that she has a couple of really cute shepherd puppies available for adoption right now.
Hi, this is Pat with Never Forgotten Animal Society in Pahrump. We're at 520 East Street, Suite C in Pahrump, right behind Wells Fargo Bank. We have the last of our 2 German Shepherd puppies. They're both little boys that are here. They are up for adoption. Our adoption fee for the puppies are $350, which includes their neuter, all of their vaccinations, rabies, and microchip. And you're welcome to come in and visit with them anytime. We are open Monday through Saturday from 10 until 5 every day. And these guys need loving, they need attention, and as you can see, they're very sweet, loving babies. If you're interested, we still need some donations for the help of the 70 Chihuahuas that we rescued. We could use some Royal Canine dog food, Chihuahua mix, so that we can keep them fed, and puppy chow as well. Through Royal Canin, something is small enough for the baby's mouths. And you're welcome to drop by anytime. Again, we're open Monday through Saturday from 10 until 5 every day. Come visit our kids. We've got quite a few puppies available, and you're welcome to come in and see them anytime. Thank you.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
I know I'm liking these temperatures. I hope you guys are too. We're going to find out more with Romano after this break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Good evening, Nevada. Romano Frediani here, in for John Kohler at the KPVM TV Weather Studios, rounding out a wonderful week of fall temperatures. Fernley saw 81 degrees today. Fallon saw 82, back down to 81 in Carson City. Tonopah, our cool spot in the state, saw 74 degrees. Goldfield, 77. Beatty hit 87 today, and Amargosa, our hot spot, once again with 91 degrees. Followed closely by Las Vegas at 89. Out in Death Valley, 102 degrees. But here in the playground of Pahrump, we have 88 degrees currently. It was 90 degrees just a little bit earlier. Winds out of the south-southwest to 9 miles an hour. 15% humidity, and the sun rose this morning at 6:27. It will set this evening at 6:49. The humidity will go up to about 29%. Winds out of the east-southeast to 7 miles an hour. And our low tonight will be 64 degrees. How does that set us up for the rest of the week? Well, lots of sunshine and temperatures firmly in the 80s. But we are going to see a little wind on the weekend. Prepare yourselves for a windy weekend and batten down the hatches as we get 17, 16 mile an hour winds on Saturday and Sunday. But do remember, those are average wind speeds. You could see gusts up to 20, 25 miles an hour. But the wind will die down as we head back into the week with our lows hovering around the low 60s, upper 50s. It's been my pleasure to bring you the weather. The infectious smile and boundless enthusiasm of Mr. John Kohler will be back on Monday. Have a great weekend. Back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
Thanks so much, Romano. We do have a missing person that is by the name of Sean Beasley. You can see his photo on our local Pahrump Facebook page. We've posted it for the last few days in a video of Sean. He's been missing in the Shadow Mountain area, and there has been some search efforts by the Nye County Sheriff's Office, and including some private search efforts in that area. He went hiking on September 6th up there with another person who has said to have returned from the hiking trip, but Sean has not been seen. If you have any information about Sean Beasley, you can call the Nye County Sheriff's Office at 775-751-7000. We also have his sister's number listed on our local Pahrump Facebook page as well. If you have any information, of course, you can remain anonymous. And if anybody would like to join the search efforts, the family will, of course, be out here this weekend as well. If you have a drone and you would like to join in the search, they will be around that area searching as well. And of course, you can coordinate with the Nye County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue, of course, is joining in that search. You can find out all of that pertinent information on our KPVM Facebook page. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.